Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem. Amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers, sisters, viewers, welcome back to another episode of Ask the Alim, live from our Wakefield studios at the British Muslims TV Centre. I hope you're all well, in the best of health and faith. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Allah keep you all happy and prosperous. Do join in, do call in, join our discussions, ask any questions, make any recommendations. Call on 01924231083 is the number to call. Also, WhatsApp to stay totally private and confidential. If you're too shy to call me and speak to me, then WhatsApp only on 07585835150 is the number to call. Please don't call that number. As always, you've got the QR code on the bottom of your screen. Both numbers at the bottom of your screen. Standard network rates apply. And we are live across all our social media platforms. Do like, do share, and do comment. And I'm hoping our team behind the scenes will pick them up and pass them on to me. As always, if you're a first-time viewer or a listener, I start off with a reminder. And yesterday I promised and I said, well, I didn't promise, but I did say I'll continue to talk about the companions. I say this because at Muharram and Ashura, the Ashara, meaning 10th of the month of Muharram, where the 18th, 19th of Muharram now, a lot of things are done, a lot of practices are done, a lot of things are said, lectures, where then you have now, I say now, in the last 10 years, social media, everybody having their 2 pence worth of opinions on who? The best of the best, the companions. Allah be pleased with them. I'll start off with a verse of the Holy Quran, Allahu Akbar, and where Allah Rabbul Izzah is praising them. Allah is talking about who? The Sahabas, the companions, and those who before them had homes. Allah Rabbul Izzah in Surah Al-Hashr, verse 8-9, talks about them. وَالَّذِينَ تَبَوَّأُوا الدَّارَ وَالْإِيمَانَ, and those who before them had homes, meaning in Medina, they had homes and had adopted the faith. Love those who emigrate to them, meaning those muhajir, those who were with Prophet ﷺ, they migrated from Mecca to Medina and have had no jealousy, meaning the people of Mecca and in Medina, because those, they had houses and abode and family and friends in Medina, had homes in Medina and adopted faith. They brought faith and accepted and welcomed and invited our beloved Prophet ﷺ to Medina. But then, who had no jealousy in between them in their hearts, which they have been given to them and gave them immigrants, meaning those the immigrants, those that were immigrating from Mecca to Medina, they gave them preference over themselves. Why? People of Medina. They gave them, the people of Medina gave preference over who? People who had emigrated. The Muhajirun from Mecca. They gave them preference. Okay, you want this house, you want this cow, you want this horse, you want this camel, no issues. Have it for yourself. Even though they were in need. Allahu Akbar. They may well have been in need. They might have wanted that horse for themselves or for their son or for their wife. They might have wanted that house, but they gave it up for their brothers and sisters who had emigrated from Mecca to Medina. Allah is, and whoever is saved from his own, Allah Rabbul Izzah here, وَمَنْ يُوقَ شُحَّ نَفْسِهِ, Allahu Akbar, فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. Allah is praising these individuals in terms of their own nafs, their own desires, their own greed, their own want, in terms of what they have. and they've overcome that need, overcome that desire, overcome that greed and maybe not wanting to spend. Subhanallah. Shuhha nafsi. Many meanings there. But subhanallah, here Allah the Almighty is praising the Quran. Let's look at history. Let's look at all nations. Let's look at many things here that can be discussed in terms of the Sahaba. If you look at the nations before, even the countries, rulers, kingdoms, people, presidents, whether you want to look at the pharaohs, whether you want to look at many other individuals which we read about recent, whether it's the British history and their kings and monarchs, or whether it's any other country, they exalt, they praise, they pride themselves in certain ways in terms of history. They look up to them. Oh, they look up to them in terms of, okay, this king, this ruler, these people, they what? They stood up for us, they fought for us, they fought for what we believe in. Every individual of that community and society will look up at them and say, with reverence, with honor, with dignity. My question, 1400 years on, to those beloved Muslims, keyboard warriors who want to cast and maybe scrutinize and maybe going further, even worse, criticize the companions of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him and his family, where the Quran, the Holy Quran has praised them, including this ayah itself. The Quran is praising them. Who are me and you to judge these Sahabas and companions? Why is this even taking place? Let's look at a few hadiths of our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in terms of certain Sahabas who now in this day and age, Allahu Akbar, love for Sahabas, love for Umar, love for Abu Bakr. Allah be pleased with them. Somebody actually questioned me about a hadith, about a reference, and asked me this in terms of, is there any hadith, is there any quotation from the Salaf Salihin, pious predecessors, or even weak narration in terms of virtues about Abu Bakr and Umar radiyallahu ta'ala an, Allah be pleased with them both, about loving them is part of faith? There are certain narrations, and I say this in a few collections, among them Fadailu Sahaba, the virtues of the companions. Imam Ahmad rahimahullah, mursalan, he narrates this in terms of Ali ibn Yazid. Ali ibn Yazid reports that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, loving Abu Bakr and Umar, Allah be pleased with them, is part of faith, part of Iman, and hating them is disbelief, kufr. Again, Imam Adi rahimahullah and Imam Ibn Asakir, on the authority of Anas bin Malik, Sahabi. Allahu Akbar. Anas bin Malik radiyallahu ta'ala anh narrates that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, loving Abu Bakr and Umar is part of Iman, and hating them is hypocrisy, munafiq or nifaq. Again, there's something from Jabir ibn Abdullah radiyallahu ta'ala an. reported Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said Abu Bakr and Umar is part of Iman. Loving Abu Bakr and Umar is part of Iman, and hating them is part of disbelief. Again, there's many narrations that will come, although these narrations, and I say although, may well have weak narrations to certain degrees of weakness. But putting them all together, corroborating them in terms of virtue, and again, virtue to an extent. Looking at the verse I started from the Holy Quran. Holy Quran. Looking at the virtues of not just these two Sahabis in the hadith. There's many hadiths about different companions, different Sahabas. Different Sahabis, different companions, I will say. Many different narrations about companions from the hadith of our Prophet ﷺ. Similarly, so many different virtues and ayats of the Holy Quran was in reference to what? An act, an incident, something that the Sahabi did, a companion did. Verses of revelation coming. This is why reverence, revering, respecting, honoring the Sahabas is very important. My brothers and sisters and viewers, there may well be historical issues, incidents that took place between the Sahabas, the Tabi'een, the Tabi'een, and especially with reference to recorded history, different version, different opinions. That does not give me or you the right to swear, to abuse, to mock. And especially with other individuals, and I say other individuals, who want to maybe contextualize things, maybe modernize things, maybe bring Islam to the 20th century, it's 2022. Allahu Akbar. They will say, oh, that was then. That was a Sahabi. We're not Sahabis. Islam is different now. Islam can't be translated like this. This is what some individuals are trying to do. Unfortunately, I say this with many books, many commentators, many academics, Muslim be it, falling into this habit. Allah make it easy for us. Brothers, sisters, viewers, stay with me. I'm going for a really short break. After this break, I'll continue on this topic, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Brothers, sisters, viewers, welcome back after that really short break. And just before the break, if you're just joining us now, talking about the status of the Sahabas, of the companions, what the Allah Rabbul Izzah in the Holy Quran has mentioned in terms of their virtue, certain individuals that have been in the company of Prophet ﷺ, and incidents have took place, scenarios, circumstances, and a revelation coming in terms of guidance or maybe command, etc. This is then has continued and lived up to our religion and in our lives today because of a particular Sahabi, a companion's practice or virtue and merits as such. So, continuing on in terms of the virtues from Sahabas, was where I mentioned some hadiths. Inshallah, and I say God willing, I will continue this subject upon my return and continuing on Ask the Alim. I'll leave that there and park that there because I do have quite a few questions that I need to answer, inshallah. If you're just joining us, do call in on 01924 231 083 is the number to call. WhatsApp 07585 835 150 is the number to WhatsApp on, and I'll answer as many questions as I can possibly, inshallah. Very quickly, going towards the first question in terms of wudu, ablution, and sun cream. Allahu Akbar. We've had Very good weather. Subhanallah. Alhamdulillah. Some have been complaining, 40 degrees, it's too hot. Oh, 30, 32, 33 is too hot. Allahu Akbar. Ablution, wudu, ritual washing of the hands, face, feet, and passing a wet hand over the head before we pray, before we stand up 5 times a day. And you've got sun cream on, you've got lotion on, you've got protection on. What is it? Is this water resistant? Water resistant sunscreen, is this permissible or waterproof? What's the scenario there? Many people ask this, and there's another question with relation to that: makeup and foundation. Allahu Akbar. Makeup and foundation, and doing wudu with that. So both, whether it's sunscreen, waterproof substances, prevent wudu from being completed. Why? Because it's water resistant, it's waterproof. You'll have to take that off. You'll have to use liquid. Similarly, towards, if you've got, I've talked about this before, Tipex, atta, meaning flour dough, when you've been cooking, making chapatis or baking. Similarly, paint or plaster, if you're a plasterer and handyman. Many of these things, many of these circumstances will need maybe turpentine, maybe a good scrub, maybe even the soap will do it. Sometimes in the case of whether it's foundation and makeup, or whether it's with reference to sun cream. Wudu won't be complete before making wudu. You'll have to remove this. There are creams, there are lotions, there are certain things that you may apply. For example, medical creams that are water resistance. Okay, they have water resistance. There's different thing between waterproof and water resistant. Sometimes some creams, they'll easily come off. You're doing wuzu, and what happens? You just wash and it's come off. And it's just a small amount of, moisture you've put on, or a lotion you've put on, or a sun cream and sun protection. Similarly to all these other things I've mentioned. Water resistance, waterproof. Understand this. Purity, tahara, cleanliness. Talked about this many times, and you should know this. Cleanliness is what? Half of faith, half of iman. Allahu Akbar. Wallahu yuhibbul tahirin. Allah loves those that are clean, pure. And always remember, we are bowing, prostrating, kneeling, going into the court of Allah. We must prepare, we must be clean. Get these things off you. Whether it's makeup, whether it's foundation, whether it's sun cream, sun protection, lotion. I know, maybe you found it difficult in this heat wave that we've had. Short one, be it, inshallah, we'll have more good weather. But again, put some more cream on afterwards. Do your wudu. Try and keep your wudu. Try and practice keeping your wudu, inshallah. Okay? Moving on, it's also the wedding seasons. I talked about last week, I think it was about Muharram and weddings, bad omens and bad things and no such thing. Somebody's asked today about walima. Walima. And someone's asked, Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum salam to you, walima. When should walima be done? Due to the current economical crisis and food and standard of living and costs going through the roof, gas, energy prices, can both parties from the girl side and the boy side split the costs of walima? What is walima, first and foremost? And what is the purpose of walima? Walima is, first and foremost, is to express joy, is to express happiness, is after the nikah, after the marriage of the spouses. Walima is a sunnah, practice of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. This is what walima is. It's a practice of our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him and his family. And it's done, when done according to the sunnah, subhanallah, it's a means of what? Blessings, reward, barakah. You've said because of bills, energy prices, cost of living, food prices, everything becoming more expensive. Can we join and can we share the costs? Walima is actually done from the boy, from the bridegroom, not the bride, not the wife to be, okay? But from the boy's side, from the boy himself. He should feed his nearest and dearest and neighbors and friends. Actually, it's said in a hadith of our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that the nikah, the nikah with the most barakah, and our beloved has expressed this, exaggerated this, a'zamun nikah barakatan. The most barakah is the one with the least burden or expenses. And nowadays, you talk about these expenses, you've talked about energy prices, you want to share the burden. Subhanallah. Cut your guest lists down. Cut the 5-6 star menu, 7-star menu, 8-9 course meals. Look at the venue and how much you are paying for this as well. Cut it down, inshallah. Allah will make it easy for you. Walima should be done when it's easier to given less burden. Also, having a share and having invited those that are in need and those that are vulnerable and feeding them amongst your walima guests, inshallah. I do have a caller on waiting to speak to us, inshallah. I'll go to the caller and then continue on this aspect of walima and how it's done, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum. Kaisa ho, theek ho? How are you? You keeping well?
I'm fine, thank you.
MashaAllah. We've not heard from you for a while.
Just was busy with lots of things.
MashaAllah. Allah keep you busy and happy and prosperous. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen.
Ameen, and thank you. Jazakallah. Just if it comes to Islamic ruling, we can't challenge Islamic ruling. But sometimes people take advantage and kids in these days, they always say, oh, Islam allows us to get married with our own choice. It's okay. But on the other side, when they engage themselves into the way they go out, have relationships and openly, like muftis and scholars, they should not sweep under the carpet these kind of things. They should properly explain and warn them and everything about how serious this issue is. Because our generation, when you are not even allowed to say oof to your parents,
SubhanAllah, yes.
You don't show your muscles towards your parents. It clearly says in Quran Hakim. It's not that it's sometimes things are not clear and you have to through hadith or Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam explains us about things, but that is clear in Quran Hakim, and that you don't even say oof to your parents. And on this serious matter, when you give this much time and effort, you make your children to that they become a good Muslim, they become good character Muslims, and they dismiss all these rules, and when it comes in the end, they say, oh, we have right to get married, but before that the way they deal with everything is all un-Islamic and illegal, like illegal Islamic.
So what is the main issue or point you'd like to make here in terms of what is it?
The main
Is the marriage
issue is that
marriage?
Muftis,
All right, okay, go on.
Muftis and the scholars, they should warn them to, they can't have any kind of relationship like
Before marriage or
not to
before before nikah, dating, shating, going out, and all these kind of things.
They go out, they spend so much time
Together.
It's the way they deal with everything.
Yeah.
Like if you know, the society is going into like fire.
Yeah.
Everybody.
So
It's there should be. We shouldn't.
okay.
Like
Sister, I'm going for a really short break now, unfortunately. And you can stay online if you want, inshallah. Brothers, sisters, viewers, stay with us, inshallah. Back after this very short break. Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem. Amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers, sisters, viewers, welcome back after that really short break. We were talking to sister about, subhanallah, some issues, and she made a very important point. I don't know if she's still with us. We can get her back straight away, inshallah, and then I'll continue talking about walima and nikah and what the current trends in societies are. As somebody's asking if we can share the costs of walima. What is it from the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ in terms of walima? Who should we invite? And what should we be doing in terms of cultural practices? Allah make it easy. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Let's see if sister's still there, and then if not, then I'll address her point as well. Assalamu alaikum, sister.
That long, just get worried about our generation, where they will stand into next coming time. Because, it's the way it's going, disobedient of parents, and like that much gap and disconnecting your parents and totally going. It's like they become villain when they. It comes to their marriage.
Allahu Akbar.
Like they never seen their parents.
Sister, I mean, you have this massive issue in our Asian societies, but do you see this happening in for example, in Asia, in Africa, in back home in Pakistan and places like that? Or is it just you're talking about maybe Europe in Asian communities where they've gone off the rail, as I would say, or maybe going too secular, liberal, and not looking at religious values? Forget culture for 1 minute. Not looking at Islamic and Quran and Sunnah values, where dating, shating, and going out, and boyfriend, girlfriend, and as you know, sex before marriage, etc. These things are not just Islamic values, but maybe Christian values and other religious values as well. So what do you think to that, sister, in terms of Asia and India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, etc.?
I don't know about India and Bangladesh, but Pakistan, things are not that worse since these mobile phone and all these media channels and everything. Lots of things change. Our generation is changed, but it's all because lack of education. I've seen some educated children over here. They stay in their boundaries. They stay in their limits. They never cross.
Why would you say? Even I mean, I may well disagree with you in terms of this. It's not just about education, is it really? Education in what? Is it?
No, we should. We are like when they are really small, or when they are in school, our focus is more on education, and every time education and their grades.
But
we miss all these other trainings, how to train our children as a Muslim and educate them right from the beginning, so they don't, when they grow up, they don't have any confusion.
But surely it's also about leading by example, and also Garka Mahol, or in the environment we've put them in, and surely it's challenging in the West.
Sorry?
I say it's challenging, it's very difficult. The environment itself in the Western society is difficult because it's a norm where we as a minority, aqalliyat jisko kehte hai, minority, it's difficult for us because it's the norm in these societies, in these communities, it's the normal practice. Whereas if you look at maybe the Asian subcontinent, or maybe even in Africa, it's not the norm. It's not normal, I would say, and I would hope this. I don't know the statistics and facts, but again, it's a growing trend in these societies as well, where out of wedlock and having children.
I am only discussing about this, that lots of Maulana says, it's the right of children, but they don't kind of.
I don't agree with yeah.
You have to stress more.
Subhanallah. You're right there. You're 100%
Thank you
right.
very much.
Jazakallah, sister. Jazakallah. Barakallah feek. And subhanallah, she's 100% right. I don't know where these Maulanas or Imams have come from in terms of it's their right. It's not the right. What is right and what is wrong is from the Quran and Sunnah of our Prophet ﷺ. And subhanallah, yes, indeed, by the law of the land, they may well be able to do these things. But as parents, as responsible parents, as Muslims, of people of faith and Iman and Islam, how can we promote promiscuity? How can we promote fornication? How can we promote sex before marriage, or having these kind of affairs in terms of what we see ourselves in this day and age and challenges of this time? Different topic, different time. Going back to that particular topic of walima. Walima should be held. What is walima? I explained this just before the break. Walima should be held in the first 3 days after the nikah, after the consummation of the marriage. And if the question was from somebody with reference to sharing the costs of walima. Walima is not the responsibility of the bride's family. It's incorrect to share or split the costs. But again, walima is not there to put a burden on the bridegroom as well. Whatever he has, whatever he can afford, whatever he can do that, inshallah. I know the question here is, the standard of living, the costs, the energy bills, the people out of work, people not being able to put food on the table, and yet here we're expected to have a big bash, big restaurant, big menu, and do no. Our beloved Prophet ﷺ said what? قال إن أعظم النكاح بركة. Our beloved said, the nikah which the most blessed, most with exaggeration, is the one with the least expenses. Having big flashy cars hired out, having big halls, having big menus, big this. No. Take it easy. If you can't afford it, my brothers and sisters, take it easy. It's not if it's mutually agreed, both family want to split the costs and responsibility, then there is no issues with that, inshallah. Let's move on, inshallah, in terms of another caller wanting to speak to us before we talking about another question in terms of adornment and grooming for men in terms of their mustaches, inshallah. Let's see who's calling. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum. See, the woman that called earlier and she was talking about marriages and how things are getting. I just want to say, but she's been a wee bit judgmental because she's not in that generation. She's born in Pakistan, come in this country, so her upbringing was different. For the young people like myself, when we were brought up, what else were we meant to do? We just try to go with the flow and learn and just do what our friends did. So you can't just put all the blame on the youngsters and the generation. I think every youngster's got a decision to see what they would like for the wedding, how they want it. The main thing is, Sheikh Mufti, right? As long as they're not doing zina and they want to get married and they're trying the best to go to the right path, why would someone be judgmental? At least they're not doing zina. At least they're trying the best. Because this day and age, be honest, not a lot of people are getting married and make errors and mistakes, but we cover the mistakes and we don't gossip about the mistakes. We just guide them and help them out, but we don't judge anyone. You know what I mean? I just felt that lady was trying to be a bit judgmental.
So, sister, if you don't mind me just asking you, if you don't mind, you're calling from, sounds like somewhere up Scotland.
Yeah, I called from Scotland, yeah.
Okay, so in terms of what would you feel or what would you think the best way about it would be in terms of, I agree with both of you in terms of the middle ground here, and I think yes, there is in this day and age, I say this day and age, there is a massive challenge for our youngsters, teenagers in terms of the marriage.
Sheikh Mufti, is it not a challenge everywhere in the world now? Doesn't matter where you are. It's a challenge everywhere. So we can't, and that lady that called, does she know old school?
No, I mean, I would disagree with you.
She doesn't know generation changed, times have changed, technology. This is 2022 and 1444 in Islam. But you can't, you know what I mean? What I'm saying is, for me, I made mistakes, but I cover mistakes. Allah doesn't want us to discuss our errors and mistakes. We all have flaws.
Very true, very true.
None of us are perfect. We'll never be perfect. But we can only try our best to go to Surah Al-Fatiha and walk to the right path. That's all we do. And we guide everybody and we cover the mistakes and we don't gossip. We just try our best to make sure everybody's just going in the right way. If they're not, Allah will guide them. Just pray for them. Do you know what I mean?
True, I agree with you on that. I agree.
It's a situation people need to are struggling, but then again, it's just give out information, guidance. That's it. That's all we can do.
I think her issue was, and I think she was blaming, and maybe people like myself, or maybe having said that, I'm certainly not promoting it, but her issue was that the Maulanas and the Imams are promoting. And she said this, that some Maulanas or they're not doing enough in terms of countering promiscuity and illicit relations out of wedlock. And they should address this as she mentioned Maulanas and Muftis, that we should address this. Yes, Allah covers our sins, our past, our mistakes. Allah is all forgiving. We make dua, we try and seek guidance towards the right path. However, there's not much or enough challenging the cultural norms. I say the cultural norms with,
Sheikh, to be fair, Mufti, I don't want to we shouldn't put all the blame on the Muftis and the Sheikhs and the Ulamas. I'm sure they're trying the best. Sometimes they don't get funding much in their organisation. It could be less charity. They don't get paid and they still do it for volunteering. So we've got to support them. Maybe it's just a wee bit that we can look into it and just, you know what I mean? We could always build something. We can get foundations. It's never about, let's just think about the negative and break everybody and shatter everybody's, just to give negativity out. That's going to give people bad vibes and make them feel terrible about themselves. How do we get, it's about the Sufism, how do we get the good vibe?
Sister, bear with us.
Bad stuff, we give bad.
Sister, bear with us, because we've got to go for a really short break. You can stay on. Be back with you after this very short break, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem. Amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers, sisters, viewers, welcome back. Apologies, sister from Scotland. We lost you there because we were going for a really short break. Both sisters from the north. I say one from England, but further up in the north of England. And then one sister from Scotland, having different opinions in terms of what we find the current challenges and cultural norms are. Marriage, promiscuity, relations before marriage, dating, going out, and many other things that are there. Some would say that ulama and scholars and muftis not challenging enough. Sister from Scotland, subhanallah, supporting them in terms of we can't always blame the scholars, because it's, they're doing their best, and their organizations, charities, institutes, and sometimes doing a lot of voluntary hours and work addressing these and many other issues, including drugs, including violence, knife crime, and many other things happening in our societies, unfortunately. And it's not just the ulamas or muftis and maulanas' responsibility. It's also the community, the elders, the parents, those that are responsible. And again, another portion of the Quran where people in their respective roles and responsibility will be held to account. Similarly, our hadith of our beloved Prophet, Kullukum mas'ulun. Everyone will be a mas'ul, a leader, and somebody who is responsible and in charge, and will be questioned and held responsible and accountable to those under them, whether it's our flock, whether it's our followers, whether it's our family, whether it's our neighbors who we are looking after because they're elderly or they are in our care as such. Moving on, inshallah, this subject can and will continue, inshallah. But I started off with an amazing topic in terms of the reverence, the positions, the status of the Sahabas, the companions of our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Peace and blessings be upon him. Talking about Abu Bakr, Umar, subhanallah, in terms of their reference, a few hadiths, generally in terms of the Sahabas and their status, and what the Quran has, subhanallah, described the people of Medina and Mecca, people of Medina having dwellings, having houses, having maybe horses, camels, and other things in terms of whether it's orchards and agricultural produce, as well as land, and giving that up for those who had migrated, immigrants from Mecca to Medina, although they would have had a need in terms of the people of Medina, but they gave up. They weren't greedy. They even had need, but they would give it to themselves, the people who were coming. Looking at that example in this day and age, where migrants are coming from all over, not just in England. I was talking to a friend of mine, a cousin of mine who lives in South Africa, where they have people coming in from other countries, be it Zimbabwe, be it other countries, looking for work, looking for a better land, or people of Turkey who are accepting millions of refugees from Syria, or people in Lebanon, similarly, Syrian refugees. Why? Because of war. No choice of their own. The public. Now, this example of the Sahabas and the companions, how open-hearted were they? How welcoming were they? How generous were they? And this example in itself for us is example for all of mankind in terms of what? Opening our hearts, opening our minds, looking at the needs of others before our needs. Yes, looking at the needs of others before our needs. Whether it's a glass of water, whether it's a car, whether it's a home, whether it's some stock, shares, livestock, property, whatever it is, you're helping others, inshallah. Allah will help us. Allah will come in our need. Allah will come in the hour of our need and our assistance, whatever it is. So brothers, sisters, viewers, unfortunately running out of time, and I want to continue on this topic of the reverence of the Sahabas. Why? Because of the past. In the last month, we've had a lot of issues. And again, I look at these trends and societal issues and lectures and speeches and online discussion forums and certain people putting posts up about who? About the Sahabas, about the companions, the best of all companions and the best of all people after our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. These were the companions whose hearts and minds and examples and actions interpreted and verses came down because of them. Yet nowadays we want to modernize Islam. We want to contextualize Islam. We want to do what to Islam? We want to bring it up to speed with 2022. Because of this movement, that law. Allahu Akbar. Then we will become harsh towards the Sahabas. Or he was too extreme. Or he was like this. Or she was like that. Or they were like this and they were like that. Stop there. Brothers, sisters and viewers, this is my plea to you. Do not go online. Do not start commenting and making judgment and passing disrespectful, degrading remarks about the Sahabas. This will lead to kufr, disbelief, unfortunately, or hypocrisy, nifaq. Warnings given by our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam on this, including the Holy Quran. So brothers, sisters, viewers, stop there. We don't know what happened in terms of historical facts as well as incidences as well. And in terms of you wanting to or me wanting to modernize Islam. No, we don't need that, inshallah. Islam is a religion. Quran is a message for all time, all people, all religion. One religion, Islam. It's for people of all backgrounds, all cultures, all society, for all of time. A miracle, the living book of Allah, and the examples given by our beloved Prophet ﷺ. So let's leave it at that, inshallah. Brothers, sisters, viewers, unfortunately, running out of time, like I said, this topic is very important, very maybe touching as well. Study the Quran, study the seerah, life of our Prophet ﷺ, including the life of our companions of our beloved ﷺ. I'll leave it there, inshallah, and I'll see you all very shortly and soon. إلى اللقاء. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.